The role of identity in schooling is an ever-changing one, and as we ever diversify our learning environment, we find that belonging changes as well. In the interview with Becky, we explore many of the ways in which she has been impacted upon by her experiences at university as she studies pharmaceutical science. At the heart of this discussion, there are many terms one must familiarize themselves with. Othering, inclusion, social capital, cultural capital, economic capital, habitus, and social justice, as well as hidden bias. Becky's background is that of growing up in China, the Dalian province. She started pharmaceutical science for 4 years and 1 year of placement at the University of Melbourne. She currently holds a pharmacy assistant job and found struggles with the university international education system while she was here. As a part of this time, she was influenced by several factors. Most notably, her friends, gaining independence, and employment were all a part of this. These, as I see them, lended support behind her decisions and gave a sense of belonging, inclusion. This led then to an identity shift, as she would then move towards different ideas surrounding her identity and where she belonged in society. As it is the underlying key idea, social relations are expected to reinforce identity and recognition, provides emotional support, and claim to certain resources, which shows that this is a major part of her development in society. And as I see it, the change in environment has a major impact on how we relate. And the underlying theme that is apparent is social capital is the most important part of one's worth and how they feel included in society. As I broadened my experiences, I found that this then led to a shift in my identity and made it more grounded. Though these are important and have a lasting effect, there are other experiences on the surface that were positive, possibly momentary, but still had a profound impact, such as her group work, her placement, and social events. These all valued ideas and senses of belonging. They established an identity and a role in society and diversified her perspectives on what society expected. And being a part of these learning groups, it was always seen that one must accept others for who they are, despite what their identity may or may not be. And throughout my experiences, one has always had to be able to tolerate and accept others. And as an identity can be reinforced, it can also be denigrated. And in such cases, Becky found that certain lecturers were not making material clear and not seeking feedback either. This throws into question the students' identities and the values. This impression can therefore make them seem that they are either privileged and do not require clarification, and in some cases, according to Bordeaux, culture can be viewed in a certain way according to those of a higher ranking. This can also be seen in some ways as a habitus, the way in which these lecturers treat students, which gives a sense of social injustice, as these students aren't valued for their identity. From my position in society, I find a hidden bias especially relevant as a student as I developed a view of Asian cultures possessing greater knowledge than those from other backgrounds. From this I therefore disregarded them from the learning processes. Lecturers can disparage students, but there can also be an encouragement of one's developing identity. The role of lecturers is clearer as Becky relates, the ability for lecturers to give a direction to students and where passions lie, and whether this is relatable. By this, their identity can be seen as separate from cultural or social capital, as there is only a direction given, no factors given. They are simply included in this area of pursuing a passion. As King states, this gives a holistic view of one's pursuits, that as a student it is harder to garner. As my identity will be torn between my capabilities and a lack of structure, while losing the idea of the foundation that is society, and myself and diverse others. The underlying hindrance for building of one's identity can come from preconceived notions regarding one's belonging. As Becky spent her high school years in China, she experienced a need for sameness that supported reserved attitudes, where talents, other than high academic achievement, were not seen as important. In this instance, social justice is exemplified, where cultural and economic capital is held in a higher regard than students' identity and sense of inclusion. In terms of how one has their identity expressed, my background of German and Scottish has my experiences with inclusion and lack of sameness, rather than othering, as quite apparent. As this was supported throughout schooling, teachers showed an interest in how we express this. The impact of social capital can be drastic, if not more so than cultural capital, as it integrates standards of learning with others. For Becky, her parents played a major role through education and continued through university. The comparisons formed from discussions between other parents show social capital to have just as great an effect, as the child is seen as cultural capital. Such pressure for social capital to be boosted as a child for me was non-existent. Passing or failing was not a familial or social achievement. In cases it was familial, but the culture of our family was to support achievement of any standard without comparisons. As a teacher, I would teach in a way that every student is to be valued and made to feel important, and every perspective is felt able to be expressed. The students should be able to pursue their interests and goals without fear of failure. There also needs to be a sense of freedom to explore one's culture. Fundamental factors that influence our social engagement must be fulfilled in order for students to be a part of learning. These assist students in their want for more knowledge and gaining better understandings. As they develop their social capital, the understanding for greater opportunities is boosted, and how economic and cultural capital then is measured as an adjunct to this. Students need a constant reinforcing of social values, to highlight their strengths that their identity possesses, to show that they truly do belong.